to run this country. We know what they did when they were here for 8 years, right? You forgot about all the scandals? I know it's like the good old days for the illegitimate. They thought those were great days. But they really weren't great days. The Clintons started the meltdown of American culture. Remember that. You see, his misbehaviors in the White House were unto themselves rather minor misbehaviors from one point of view, because the wife looked the other way. She knew what he was. There was no surprise to her. But when you have a president so out of control that he can't control his urges, even in the White House, it tells you much more about him than you'd like to know. And that's what all the scandals were about. And she was a co-scandal monger. I mean, or rather, she was involved with them because she was what do they call that? Someone who allows it to happen? I don't know the word. I can't remember. Enabler. She enabled it to happen. So they are what they are, you know. WDRC, Barbara, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hi, Michael. My daughter, this was 25 years ago, was in junior high, and the family health, they don't call it sex ed, they call it family health now, told all the students that 2 out of every 5 people would become homosexual. They also have a booklet that describes every kind of sexual deviancy possible. And this was all given to my child in the 9th grade.
In which school?
This was in a school in Connecticut.
Well, I mean, that's sort of an oxymoron. A school in Connecticut, there's no such thing. It's a brainwashing institution in Connecticut.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, Connecticut is so far to the left that you can produce a senator like the type you have.
That's right. It's horrific.
Who is your senator there?
Blumenthal.
Oh, well, that says it all. Blumenthal is the far left. Blumenthal is the problem. Blumenthal is a product of the far left. Blumenthal is the most anti-family senator of all. Blumenthal is a certifiable wackadoodle. Barbara, a free copy of my novel Countdown to Mecca to you for Father's Day.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
I only tell the truth, and frankly, Mexico is sending not their best and not their finest. We're getting drug dealers, we're getting sex offenders, we're getting tremendous problems. I speak to border guards. I met 2 border guards last week, and they say what's coming into this country is not their best. Believe me, it's their worst. And we're getting it. Now, I'm sure good people are coming in also, but they're just walking past security. They have no checks, no balances. So whether it costs me votes or not, I don't care. I tell the truth.
Good. He's right. Maybe he'll move some of the timid Republicans to be real leaders. The fact is that we need Donald Trump. We need Donald Trump's ideas. And for those who are criticizing him, they're toe dust. That's what I described them in the media who were mocking him yesterday, toe dust and skirts. The National Review attacked him today in a lengthy piece written by an unknown, jealous man, a little man. The National Review has attacked me repeatedly for 20 years. What is the National Review? It's read by nobody. What, because William F. Buckley Jr. was once the editor, it's something to pay attention to? Why would they attack him? Because they're sold out to the Republican Party, as are those in the Rush cartel, by the way. They're one and the same. It's all one cartel. I'm sorry to say it. Now, many nations are building walls right now. Dominican Republic is mass deporting Haitians. They're lining up buses to get them out of their country. In Europe, Hungary is ordering a 100-mile border fence. The nations of the world are lining up to save their sovereignty. The United States of America takes in more immigrants than any other nation on earth, and Obama won't be happy until you are a minority in your own country. Obama will not be happy until the churches and the churchgoers are minorities in their own country. Obama will not be happy until there is no longer an America. That's my opinion, and we all know it to be true. I watched that faker speak this morning. I turned the TV off. He was celebrating the appointment of Loretta Lynch as the top cop, a woman who has done untold damage in New York City and that district, a woman who was lobbied for by none other than the shady Al Sharpton, That's someone he should salute as Attorney General. We haven't had a reign of terror under that other one, Holder, long enough. Now we need Holder in a skirt. That's what we just got. When I watched that shady character Obama speak this morning, I started to shake and I fumed. I turned the TV off. I couldn't look at him anymore. That's how far I've come with this man. I can't watch him. There's nothing in him that I can relate to. Nothing. So, yeah, many nations know what's going on, and they're doing something about it. But we have been neutralized in this country by the vermin, by the far left. That's right. It's that simple. So I hope Donald Trump runs, and I hope he wins. Now, the hit piece in the National Review was written by a jealous little man who couldn't even afford to buy a pair of shoes that Donald Trump wears. It's all jealousy, written by an unknown would-be intellectual, allegedly a conservative intellectual, but nothing but a bitter little man. And I read the article. I'm not going to read it to you. But one of the things that this little man in the National Review said about Trump was that he was born rich, and therefore he didn't really earn his money. You know, that's a crock of garbage. And he smeared Trump's father in the article. Shame on William F. Buckley's ghost to smear Trump's father, who built many amazing apartment houses for the middle class in New York City. He called him a slumlord. He was the furthest thing from a slumlord. Donald Trump's father built substantial middle-class buildings in Queens and Brooklyn, New York, giving families a clean, good place to live in. Where does he come up with slumlord? Where'd that come from? Just because he owns apartments, he's a slumlord? You know, you talk about a smear campaign coming from the left. Well, that would make the National Review a far-left publication, which is, by the way, what it has become under... who's the editor-in-chief there? Rich Lowry? Another one who's sniped at me for 20 years now. They don't like Michael Savage because I'm for borders, language, and culture, and they're a sellout of the Republican Party, meaning they like open borders, no language, and no culture. Oh, yeah, but they're real conservatives. Yeah, they're real conservatives. Why? What makes them a real conservative? I really don't care what they call themselves. They're wrong about Trump. Let me tell you something that I happen to know about the Trump family, and I'm not a friend of theirs. I grew up on the poor side of Union Turnpike in Queens, New York. Donald Trump, believe it or not, when I was young, I didn't know him at the time, he lived on the good side of Union Turnpike. The other side of Union Turnpike was where Jamaica Estates were. Beautiful middle-class brick homes. We lived on the other side in attached houses, meaning, you know, row brick houses that were attached. But for us, it was paradise because I had come from an apartment in the Bronx, which was pretty low. We didn't like it there very much. There was no crime when we lived there. After we left the Bronx, it degenerated into a total hellhole. But nevertheless, we moved to an attached house. We lived on the poor side of Union Turnpike. He lived on the rich side in Jamaica Estates next to Cunningham Park. And the houses were very beautiful over there. Now, Donald was not an only child. Donald was, as I understand it, there was one other brother at least. And both of the brothers had the same chance to build a business from what their father had given them. Donald took what his father had given him and turned it into what he has. The other brother did not. He fell by the wayside because he didn't have Donald's character. Donald Trump is a self-made man. Make no mistake about it. He started with a lot, but he built it into a lot more. Others start with a lot and wind up in the gutter. And I'm sure that the writer for the National Review, had he started with something, would today have less than what he has right now as a mere unknown writer for the National Review. So no, Trump is a self-made man. Make no mistake about it. Some people inherit money and build on the fortune. Others inherit money and screw it up. He's the former, not the latter. So let's not say he's not a self-made man. He is. And as far as calling him his father a slumlord, that's a low blow. Because I'll repeat myself, there are probably many listeners on the Savage Nation in New York City who can call and say, yeah, I lived in a Trump apartment house. I think he built Lefrak City. I'm not sure if he did. I think he did. I know he built numerous apartment houses all over Manhattan, which were beautiful, clean, middle-class buildings for a very long period of time. KSFO Online, Joe, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Yeah, hi, Mike. I just want to say that the reports that Trump might be a spoiler, are pretty widespread, but I see another aspect to him. I see him as possibly a kingmaker because his views are clear and they're concise, they're clearly stated, and they're very conservative. And
You're
so
right. He's the antithesis to the Republican liberal establishment.
Yeah, but in the field of Republicans, he could draw, if he draws a lot of attention and good polling, he could draw everybody to the right, force them, to take a more right.
Listen, all the polls right now are garbage for one reason. The true conservatives never answer polls and are never polled. They're not going to tell any of these creeps who call them up what they think. If Trump was really running and really ran on this platform of building a wall, which I suggested in my Trickle Up Poverty book, etc., I can guarantee you that millions of people who are not going to vote will vote. They're not going to vote for the other candidates in the Republican Party at all.
Well, let's say he's around number 3 or number 2. He could greatly influence number 1 by pledging his support. If he's not going to win, he could choose between the top contenders, and negotiate with them based on adopting and making them promise to take on planks in his platform.
Well, you're saying that if he chooses to run, even though he's not winning, I frankly think if he ran, he would easily win. The only people opposing Trump, other than the obvious far left in the media, are the Republican Party themselves. They're afraid of him. They're for open borders, they're for no language, and they're for no culture. They stand for nothing except greed and lobbyists. That's all they stand for. What is the Republican Party? Can you tell me what the Republican Party stands for? I don't know what it is.
Democratic Light. But I'm just saying that as a possibility. I hope Trump wins. I'm with you on that. But if he's at the vice presidential level or number 3, he could have a huge.
He would never ever accept the vice presidency, nor should he. The last thing we would want to see is a deballed Donald Trump looking like the clown who is now vice president, a no man. The vice presidency is a none job. It has no power. It's nothing. It's symbolic.
Right.
Basically, all a vice president does is wait there in case the president dies.
What if he was really high up there, and he gave, say, a lot of support to Carly Fiorina, and that pushed her over the top? I mean, I'm just thinking of different.
Well, I'm not a fan of Carly. I mean, I'll take her over Hillary if that's the choice. Carly ran for governor in California. I remember when her campaign crashed and burned. I'm from California. I know what she did. When she was pressed by conservatives in California on the issue of illegal immigrants, she was in favor of amnesty. She always has been. And so that was the end of her campaign. It's why she crashed and burned. So far as I know, she hasn't changed on that issue, my friend.
That's the end of my support for her right
well, to ask her. Let someone ask Carly Fiorina where she stands on illegal aliens and amnesty. It's that simple. Joe, I'm giving you a Father's Day gift. You know what it is, a copy of my novel, A Countdown to Mecca. 855-400-7282 is the phone number. 855-400-7282. WABC, Josh, go ahead. You're on the Savage Nation.
Yes, my comments you were talking about, that really outlandish, disgusting situation in Italy, and it just brings to the forefront, how the world is just becoming so immoral. People are not students of history. For instance, the Greeks, the Romans, the reason why these empires fell is because of immorality. And, another point is where I've never...
Yes, you are 100% right. And right now it's coming from the radical left in the form of this gender identity garbage where they're trying to destroy our children's minds and souls.
And my second point is, which I've never heard anybody talk about this, is people who are for gay marriage and consider themselves religious. In the Bible, the Ten Commandments, it says, honor thy father and mother. It's not plural. Honor thy fathers or mothers. And I don't understand why people...
Well, that's why they're out to burn Bibles. You understand why they attacked the Catholic Church to begin with? Because the Catholic Church actually teaches the Bible. And so if you can eliminate the Bible, then you can have a nice, malleable Catholic Church that stands for global warming and gender confusion. Yep. Then it'll be a church that they can relate to, you see, something without any firm statements on anything. The Bible is clear. It says, honor thy father and thy mother. It doesn't say honor thy fathers nor thy mothers.
Correct. I mean, even the Pope now, he's for global warming. I mean...
the Pope is just a tool of the far left. He's a stooge on that issue. All right, my friend, we see what's going on. You're right about Greece and Rome. We know why they fell. One of the main reasons was the moral decay. Stay in the line, Josh. my novel Mecca will go out to you. I received a letter from a professor of political science about the moral degeneracy that the West